What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be another DevPro duel video in Ranked, and this time it is going to be with a more combo-oriented deck and strategy in the form of Burning Abyss Infernoids. Now this specific list is taken from a duelist by the name of, I think, Steven Sandler, if I remember correctly, who just recently got first place in Swiss at ARG St. Louis. I don't know what his final placement ended up being at the end of the overall tournament and Top Cut, because Top Cut has yet to be played out. That is something that is going to occur tomorrow at the time of me filming this video, and that is something that I plan on watching throughout, because, you know, I like information, and especially with YCS Origins a week away, I like all the information that I can get in terms of playtesting material and playtesting ideas and theories and stuff like that. But ultimately, I've been testing this concept myself very passively over the past couple of weeks, because I've always liked the idea of Burning Abyss Infernoid ever since the first Infernoid cards came out in Secrets of Eternity. There was a deck that one of my friends dabbled around with, and I always really liked the concept, but it never really went anywhere. And I really do like the idea of just making Dante's and milling your Infernoid cards, specifically with Fiendish Rhino Warrior in the deck, because it really bridges the gap between the Infernoid cards and the BA cards, in the essence that Rhino Warrior can send Infernoids that you want from deck to grave, as well as hit BA cards. So, like, it's a card that you can either have on your board, and, you know, it protects all your BAs from being killed with, you know, Infernoids being up, stuff like that. It's just, all in all, just, it goes the mile here. It's honestly probably a 3 of, but I just decided to play with his list instead of my own, because his list seemed a little bit more soundly constructed and was operating better when I was testing it. But this deck has a lot of really key and neat interactions, in the form of you being able to make, like, Dante's out of, like, Decatron, Send Entra, Bounce a Threat, and then having, like, Rhino Warrior or, like, Harmadic, stuff like that. There's a lot of really cool and neat, interesting ways to make Dante, and then Dante also fuels your Infernoid engine. So this is really a really cool deck, whereas the Lightsworn engine is very, unreliable in essence of what it actually is and how it functions. Whereas with this specific deck, you have a more reliable and, you know, better floater engine in terms of its, you know, a floater engine in general, where Lightsworns are not. And you have, like, cards like Dante, Beatrice, and stuff like that to have strong accessibility, you know, into extra deck threats off of the BA engine. And then the BA engine fuels your Infernoid engine, and then the Infernoid engine in turn can go back and fuel your BA engine and do stuff like that. It's very neat. It's very cohesive, and it's something that I just really enjoy in terms of an overall concept. Now, like I said, Rhino Warrior could potentially just be warranted to bump to 3, simply because it is a very, very strong card in the essence of, like, you know, keeping your BAs on the board while you're doing Infernoid things is very, very much a powerful thing. So there's definitely that. But yeah, I can't take credit for this list, although I do have my own list. I just decided not to play it for this video, and ultimately I think this one is probably better, and I'll probably be going back and tweaking my own with some of the, like, knowledge I gained from testing around with this one. But anyway, let's just jump into the game, because I've babbled on long enough, as is the standard sort of thing you sign up for with these deck lists at the beginning of the video type formatted thingos. Alright, so as per usual, I'd like to be playing against something that's, you know, meta. That's probably not going to be the case, because I'm literally taking pot shots in the dark in DevPro Ranked, and this person is a 14-card extra deck. So, already looking pretty promising. But this deck is very, very... Ooh, God, he's letting me go first, and my hand is, like, amazing? Wow. Alright, so I've got Rhino Warrior, I've got Farfo, which means I have Graph access, I have Scarm access, I have access to any Infernoid that I want. That's what I really like about Rhino Warrior in this deck specifically, is that it just gives you so many accessibilities into these other cards, in form and function of like, just kind of altering between the engines, essentially. I swear to God. Okay, I thought that Rhino was about to get Veilered, and I was about to be very upset with my life choice. But as it stands, I get to basically just do essentially a lot of whatever I want at this point, because I get to send this, I get to mill 3 cards, and I milled Infernoids, I milled a Decatron, which is actually really good. So I get to use Rhino here, which I can use to get Scarm, or send Graph, get Scarm. And then from there, what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to special this from my hand. I'm not going to respond to that. It took a lot of convincing to get me to turn off Mute Opponent, because I used to just leave it on 24/7 when I was filming. But basically, might as well just turn it off, right? But I get to get Scarm off of that Graph, and then I get to put the Seer under this Dante, so I get to keep that nice and fresh and fancy. But do I have Deviate in here? I did not get to a Deviate, which would have been actually really, really cool and really good, was if I would have been able to get to Deviate, because that would have allowed me to do some very, very choice things. But as it stands, I kind of, let's see, I've got 4 Infernoids in my graveyard, which means I can afford to summon this Atondal just to be a body, and just be it, just have it be an oppressive board presence, because like that'd be really cool. And it also removes these from grave, because there's really no purpose of them being in grave. But if I'm able to make Leviair, then I can special summon it, and I am very much able to make some potential easy Leviairs. And even if this doesn't get removed from the board via its own effect, I can always banish it with Farfa and it'll come back. So there is that as well. But I think this is fine as far as an opening board. I think I'm okay with this. I can just grab Tour Guide here. I've got Seer that's live. I've got Farfa under this Dante. And then this can always blink itself out whenever it wants. That's why I summoned it, because like if it was one of the small ones from my hand, definitely would not have summoned it. 100% no. Bad idea. But since this is one of the big ones, I can blink it out whenever to banish a card from my opponent's graveyard. And, you know, there is that potentially that could just keep things going. Ah, Raidraptors. Okay. Cattle Call. Oh, no. Am I going to be dealing with Ultimate Falcon? I mean, it's kind of difficult to deal with Ultimate Falcon with this deck. Outside of just, like, Nightmare Shark barbaring them for, like, absolute death. But I do want to Atondal and deal with that in its own way. Okay, so summoning this, which makes me believe that the right play here, hear me out on this one, I believe the right play here is to activate this, tribute my Dante that has the Farfa under it, banish his Mimicry Lania so he doesn't get a search there, and then on a new chain, my Dante and my Farfa activate, and my Farfa will banish his Satellite Cannon Falcon, which means that he won't be able to rank it up. I think that's actually just like the most amazing thing that I could do here. I'm gonna add the graph back. I don't know why I was like debating on that for so long. I would rather float into Skarm off of this Seer if potentially possible. And so now that basically cuts off 2 of his potential lines of play, and depending on, you know, depending on what his hand is, it's very much just in my favor, because now I can Tour Guide Leviair, I can do all these different things. I can mill cards. If I get to Deviate, then I'm able to do that. This stays on the board, which is a slight problem, but I do get to just potentially attack over it or bounce it with like something like a Tondal. Not Tondal, Antra, that one. But so what are my chances here? Well, you know what? This is a chainable effect anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and activate this in mill 3. I'm going to do this. I'm going to look at this. Alec and Seismus. Okay. Readiness. Interesting. Interesting choice. Okay, so what's going to happen here? It can't be destroyed by battle. Alright, so what's going to happen here is that this is going to activate. I can choose to activate Alec, but I'm not going to. And then the Seer can actually bring back Dante, which is going to be very key, because I've got this graph. And that is going to work in my favor there. Well, actually, I'm going to be tributing this anyway, so I actually am going to be specialing this graph out of my hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Skarm. I'm going to get back Skarm, and in response to my Seer, I'm going to tribute itself, and I'm going to banish his readiness, and he's obviously just probably going to chain it here. Oh, isn't chaining it. Interesting choice. Okay, so now at this point, I can activate this graph and special it, and now I can make another Dante. And doing that will allow me to have some interesting lines of play there. But what I'm going to do here is I can actually just make Leviair, and I can normal summon this Tour Guide and make Dante then. So I don't think it's actually an issue. I can Grand Pulse that, which is also something that could happen. I can Antra bounce this. He's going to be taking battle damage this turn, so we'll probably definitely want to do that. I can summon an Infernoid first, is something that could also happen. And it's actually something that's going to happen. So I'm going to overlay these. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I know the exact line of play that I want to do here. I want to make Grand Pulse, and I'm going to use Grand Pulse to pop his back row. So that's going to be that. And then, okay, so that's Skip Force. Alright. And now I'm going to summon a Tondel. I'm going to banish this and Seismist from grave to summon it. So now I already have a big body on board, and now I've got this Grand Pulse here. I'm going to normal summon this Tour Guide, and then use Tour Guide to probably summon Seer, and just put it under the Leviair, so that I can get back Dante when it dies. Yeah, that seems pretty good. And now this is just really strong as well because of the fact that that once this resolves, if he has something like Valor for the Decatron, then I'm going to be able to make Utopic Future and then take that. So there is that as well. So we will just keep doing what we're doing here, and we'll just, oh, I just went straight past the Antra, and we'll just bounce this. Bounce. Alright. This looks like game, if I ever did see. This looks like game a lot. Oh, and this can attack too, because Antra doesn't keep it from attacking, because it's like a 0 attack monster, so like, what's the point? Awesome. Amazing. Alright, so I'm just going to go low to high to play around things like Gores or anything like that if he plays those, but the fact that he didn't chain this readiness bothers me. Oh, you have to have a Raidraptor in your graveyard. I thought you had to control a Raidraptor. Okay, so absolutely not. Then there was no way he could have prevented this outside of having a different card. So there is that. Okay, I thought he just made a huge mistake by not activating readiness, but he actually just couldn't activate readiness, because I thought it was Raidraptor on board. No, it's Raidraptor in grave, which he at that point didn't have because I banished his Mimicry Lanius. Oh my god. Let's not fuck around. Hit the wrong button. Thank God I could just do a different card. Okay. Whoa, that almost could have ended badly if I had just clicked really quickly. But I guess we'll just go with that. Okay, so that was actually really neat. I actually really liked the fact that I actually did a play that was very, very impactful with the cards that I had on my board in terms of making defensive lines with a Tondel and that Dante that had Farfa under it. I think that was really cool and really neat, and I really like making little technical plays like that are actually just very, very seldom caught on to by some people, but like it's those little tiny technical plays that if you see them every once in a while, they're going to give you an advantage over people that don't see them and stuff like that. So like I could have easily just let that go through, or tribute the Atondel and banish his Mimicry Lanius, and like would have been in a really bad position from there, but because of Skip Force and Ultimate Falcon. But as it stands, I really like the way that that entire sequence of plays ended up, because it ultimately ended up in my win. So obviously gonna like it. But basically, let me know what you guys think about this deck in the comments down below. I'm gonna continue playing with it a couple more times because it's, you know, really combo oriented, and if it's combo oriented, I'm really with it because I really like combo oriented stuff, because it just seems to be a lot more in depth than the other options in terms of the pilot capacity that's required for it and stuff like that. But other than that, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Links are in the description to my Facebook and Twitch links if you want to check those out. That's what they are there for. If you want to support me, clicking ads on my videos and disabling ad block when you view my videos is the best way to support me, the best way to do so. It'd be really cool of you guys if that's something you could take the time out of your day to do, and I would appreciate it all the same. Whether or not you support me in any way, shape, or form, I appreciate it all the same. Whether it's subscribing, liking, clicking ads, whatever. I appreciate all of it. But that's it for this video, and as always, guys, take care.